match come through, I'm surprised as how low it is and what they're expecting of us. That on some of these matches, it's basically buy one get one free for them, where we will fulfill one for free.
Yo, so I'm out here down the block from my new home, and I wanted to make this vlog. I'm using a 23mm lens, so I hope it's okay. But anyway, I just wanted to come in here and touch base real quick, show you how beautiful it is. I'm so excited to be where I'm at. So anyway, the moving process was really kind of tough for me. You know, like, it was pretty emotional. Leaving New York City, you know, if you've lived there for a long time, I think you would understand that it's not easy to leave. You know, as much as, you know, I always say to people, like, real New Yorkers love New York. Like, we're snobs, without a doubt. You know, we think New York City is the center of the universe, and everything starts and ends there, and we're the best and we're the greatest and all this. And, you know, in many ways, a lot of that is true. But in many ways, it's not true, because, you know, I always say that a true New Yorker loves New York, but also hates New York. Like, there are things about it that are really difficult. I mean, it's sometimes really hard to live there. And so anyway, I have been there for most of my life, you know. Certainly my entire adult life, pretty much, and my life started there. And I was actually in an apartment that was on the same block where my first permanent home was, where I was finally adopted out of foster care. I was living right across the street from my grandmother's apartment, and you know, I started to think, like, am I going to die in this apartment? You know, I started here. Am I going to end here? Like, I don't want this to be the last place that I live. But, you know, I've been there for 8.5 years, and I started to kind of feel like I was getting stuck. Like, I couldn't see myself leaving, you know. It was just too much. You know, it's expensive to move. It's kind of a pain. The longer you stay there, you start to embed yourself into an apartment. You know, I had all my stuff, you know, my editing equipment, my clothes, you know, stuff that I accumulated for my whole life. I mean, it was really, you know, it was like an overwhelming thought to leave, but I realized that I needed change. You know, I needed to, like, uproot my whole life and just go someplace completely different. And I started to look around, and I found some places, and I almost moved to a place called Peekskill, New York, about 2 months ago. But at the last minute, I pulled out because I decided, sorry, these mosquitoes are killing me. I decided that apartment was just a little bit too small. And so I pulled out. And then I decided that I'm not going to move until maybe next year sometime. But then my dear friend Gold called me and told me about an apartment that was available up where she lived, up in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is where I am now. And I went to look at it, and without getting into all the details, so many things were in alignment. It was like, it was clear that this was my home. Like I had to move here. You know, it was like, it was crazy. And I'll share that story another time. But, you know, I walked in, I was like, this is my home. I met the people who owned the house that I moved into. It was a beautiful apartment, bigger than where I lived in the city. And my apartment in the Bronx was huge. It was a big space. So, you know, it was pretty amazing. Sorry, I got some people coming out here. It was pretty amazing. So anyway, I took it and then I started the process of moving. And it was not easy, you know. Like you don't realize how much stuff you have, you know, over 8.5 years until you move. Then you realize, like, I've accumulated my whole life here, you know, like all the years before I got there, and then the last 8.5 years. And so I started to put it all together and box it up and bag it up. And I called some movers, and my friend Baba Israel hooked me up with a moving guy who was just an incredible, very unusual dude. Chelsea movers, use them, trust me. Call Donovan. But I got up here and everything's good, and I'm just kind of overwhelmed, but also incredibly inspired. Like I feel like I'm gonna do the best work of my life up here. You know, I'm about to finish my movie. You know, I finally have all the music. We're about to mix. It's just about done, putting all the credits together. So I'm gonna finish this film that I started during the pandemic. You know, when my whole theater life got canceled and all these gigs that I had for 1.5 years got, you know, deaded. And I'm finally going to finish this project that took me 1.5 years to make with some of the most incredible collaborators. And 1.5 years of learning this filmmaking craft. And so now I'm sitting here shooting with a camera that I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would buy. And now I'm obsessed with, and I kind of know what I'm doing now. And so I already started a screenplay for my next project, which will be shot on this. I'm starting a documentary. I wrote a new play, and so there's a lot of things on the horizon for me. And part of that is starting a new life in a new place, you know, and I'm pretty far from New York City. Like I feel good because I'm not too far, but I'm not too close either, you know. Like I feel like I could really start a new life up here. And I'm very, very excited about that. And so I just wanted to check in real quick. I'm not going to go crazy or, you know, tell a million stories or whatever. I just wanted to check in because I said I would check in about a week after I got up here. And so here I am. And for those who care, I'm using the Sony a6400. I'm using the Viltrox 23mm f1.4. And I'm actually, oh, shout out to Purple Panda. My first Purple Panda that I've been using for a while, my lavalier mic, just died on me a couple of weeks ago. And I wrote to them and I was just out of the warranty, like just barely. But I said to them, I was like, yo, a year that's not so good. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to reach out to you before I went elsewhere to get something else. And they sent me a new one, like no questions asked. They just sent me a brand new. So great company, great product, Purple Panda lavalier mic. It's really reasonably priced, and they'll take care of you if you have a problem with it. So, because they don't know me, they don't know anything about me, they just took care of me. So I really appreciate that. So that's what I'm using, and I'm recording to my old LG V20 phone because it records 24-bit audio. So I'm doing that, and that's it. Look how beautiful it is here. It's incredible. See that bridge right there? I run over that bridge every morning. That's the longest pedestrian bridge in the world. And I will tell you one crazy story. So I started working on this new film. You know, I started writing a screenplay, and it's also going to be a theatrical piece, a solo theater piece. And so it's kind of the third part of a trilogy. The first part being my first play, Broke Wide Open, which was my like very ambivalent search for my biological mother. The second part was my biological mother's story, because I learned all this information 6 years after I did Broke Wide Open. So I wrote a new play called The Red Plaid Suitcase, which I didn't get to perform last year because of the pandemic. But that was the second part of the trilogy. And now the third part of the trilogy is a story about my biological father. And I'm not going to tell you anything about that, but it's kind of an amazing story, and the name of it is This Is the End for Me. So anyway, I decided when I started writing that, which was months and months ago, I decided that it was going to take place on a bridge, okay? And I did a lot of research, and I read about this pedestrian bridge up in Poughkeepsie, New York, which I've been to Poughkeepsie a couple times. I performed there a few times, but I had never really spent any time in the city. I don't know anything about Poughkeepsie, other than the last week that I've been here. But anyway, I wanted it to take place on this bridge, which I didn't even know what the bridge looked like, but in my mind's eye, I just thought this is perfect. It's a pedestrian bridge. It's over the Hudson River. I wanted it to go from the Hudson into the New York Harbor, out to the Atlantic Ocean. And so it takes place on a bridge in bad weather. Well, fast forward about 4 months, I get this call from my friend Gold about this apartment, and I walk in and everything's in amazing alignment, and I realize this is my home, and I'm going to take this apartment. And this apartment is 2 blocks from that bridge. Real story, truth. So everything is in alignment. I run over that bridge every morning now. The only thing is that bridge is not really right for what I want to film, because it's much more beautiful and too big for what I want. I want kind of an old rickety old bridge, so I'm doing a lot of research up here in the Hudson Valley, and I'll find the correct bridge. But anyway, it's pretty amazing the way things work out. And so thank you so much for watching this. I'll be back with a more meaningful video pretty soon, probably within a week. I hope everybody's well. Hope everybody you love is well. And if not, still a very difficult time. Incredible things going on in this country, in the world actually. And so my heart goes out to anybody going through difficult things right now. And that's it. So I'll be back very soon. Oh, I wanted to shout out 2 other people as well. And I'm sure they're not watching this, because these guys are like on some other planet when it comes to YouTube videos. But first of all, I want to really shout out to a guy named Danny Gevirtz, who shared recently a video about his proposal to his girlfriend, proposal of marriage. And it was just an incredibly beautiful sharing of, something very personal, you know what I mean? And I found it really just profound, and I appreciate it. So I want to shout out, because to me, that's what art is about, to move people and to share your most intimate self, So shout out to Danny Gevirtz, who's also like off the charts talented filmmaker, and also this cat Volandis from Detroit, photographer, who I watched a video of his yesterday. I think it's titled, "Are You Even a Real Photographer?" And he kind of did a visual representation of a lot of the comments that he gets from time to time on his videos. And it was hilarious, but it also resonated with me, because it spoke basically of critics or haters. And for me, I'm a theater artist. I have to deal with critics a lot, which I don't care. I'm fine with it. It doesn't really bother me, but it is kind of astounding to me sometimes to hear some of the comments that people make to an artist. Like, I watched another video yesterday, and it was about how some of these YouTubers deal with haters, quote unquote. And people just come on and make the most incredible comments to people who put out this kind of content, or to playwrights like me, or filmmakers, or novelists, or whatever. You have critics. And most people don't realize what it takes to even create a story. For me, you have to first of all write a play, then you have to like memorize it, which my plays are 2 hours, 2.5 hours long, just me. It's a lot of words. Then you have to like not just know the words, you have to be good at it, like make it entertaining, produce it, put it in a form that people will really enjoy receiving, and hopefully love and remember forever. And it's just, it's a lot. And most creative stuff, unless you're a celebrity, you ain't making a whole lot of money. Like, you're doing this because you love it, And so I thought Volandis' video was incredible, because it was a great representation of some real stupid comments that people make to him. And I gotta say, Volandis, you a dope dude, man. Like, his films, he puts these short films on YouTube. They're incredible. Like they're like short little movies. Some of them are not so short, and they're really, I find them to be very important work. He's a great photographer. He's a straight shooter. He's a very honest person. I get the feeling he's very genuine. And so shout out to him, made me laugh out loud. And I'm not the funny guy. It's hard to make me laugh, but I laughed for that whole video. So thank you for that. So anyway, all right, everybody, I'm going to stop talking now. I'll see you in the next one. So happy to be here. So beautiful up here. And I'll see you soon. You see people out here enjoying this too. All right, peace.